all you Minties, Astonishing Melanie here, and I'm really happy to do a Calvin and Hobbes retro review today, so please stay tuned. And welcome back to Near Mint Condition, where we like to take a stroll down memory lane with this gorgeous, heavy edition of Calvin and Hobbes, written by Bill Watterson, running from 1985 to 1995. Such a huge part of my childhood. So we've got the fabric cover, which is on the bottom as well. We've got the beautiful prints on the side, all around there. And each of the three volumes are fabric covered as well. Please ignore the unprofessional notes. I didn't feel like editing every time I tried to find a page. Here we are. This is the original publishing of the box set in 2005. However, they have made several printings of this with a whopping 1,440 pages. This Baby is Big by Andrews McMeel Publishing. Retails for $195. And to answer your last burning question, how much does it weigh? 22 pounds. Oh yeah. Get a nice workout lifting these babies. So opening her up, we're already introduced to Bill Watterson's beautiful watercolors. And we have acknowledgments in and forward by him. I'm going to wait until the end to delve into some really poignant remarks he makes. I do want to mention, though, that Bill Watterson explains he wanted to be a political cartoonist but didn't know politics. So in college, he studied political science. And one of the authors they read was Hobbes, who had the belief that humans are just selfish and there needs to be a monarchy because otherwise things are just going to fall apart. Which is not necessarily what Hobbes, the character, stands for in the book, but there it is. That's most 99% likely where that comes from. He doesn't say specifically that's why, but Hobbes is listed as one of the people he studied. Let me say, I learned that he wrote this practically for his wife. His wife was his audience, and I thought that was just really cool. He was a private person. He appreciated his privacy. He did not want any merchandising money made off of Calvin and Hobbes. He wanted to stay pure, which I think is really cool, and I respect him for that. Because if you think about it, you could buy a Hobbes stuffed tiger, which for some people that they would really like it. However, in my opinion, then it kind of cheapens the message of use your imagination with what is with you. Alright, so let's get into some of the strips. Book 1 is 1985 to 1988. So we're introduced in the very first strip to Calvin having a stuffed tiger named Hobbes. And that to him, he's real, and to everybody else, when he's with an adult per se, he turns back into a stuffed tiger in our perception of him. And as I'm reading through volume 1, I realized how much Calvin, who is supposed to be 6, is like both of my daughters, who are 11 and 9. With Lydia, it's this daydream smile that he has on his face. I see that all the time, and I love it. She's constantly daydreaming. Then we see here Calvin being sarcastic, which is definitely Lydia as well. So I'm going to try this out, reading it to you. So here he goes. Let me try. Somewhere in communist Russia, I'll bet there's a little boy who has never known anything but censorship and oppression. But maybe he's heard about America, and he dreams of living in this land of freedom and opportunity. Someday I'd like to meet that little boy and tell him the awful truth about this place. Calvin, be quiet and eat the stupid lima beans. That's definitely my daughter Lydia's type of humor. Here we have at the bottom for Christmas of '85, this strip that made me tear up. It's so sweet. Calvin says, Hobbes, I forgot to get you a present. I didn't even make you a card. I'm sorry, Hobbes. I didn't mean to forget. It's okay, little buddy. I didn't get you anything either. But here's a tiger hug for being my best friend. Not so hard, you big sissy. You squeezed my tears out. Merry Christmas. Oh, I'm gonna cry right now. Here we get a taste of Watterson's watercolors. And actually later in life, after he moved to Arizona and stopped working on Calvin and Hobbes, he said he took a painting that he found it was really refreshing, and he was glad to teach himself, something new. He also really enjoyed the Sunday strips that he could kind of flex his muscles, stretch out, so to speak. All right, this strip reminds me of all three of the other members of my family. I'm done with my homework. I'm going outside to play. I've got my jacket. I'm leaving now. Further bulletins as events warrant. Everybody says what they're doing all the time in my house. I'm so glad I found this strip. This is my absolute favorite that I quote with Omar. It cracks me up just imagining it. Calvin is at his desk telling Hobbes, I've got a great idea for school tomorrow. I cut a ping pong ball in half, and now I'm drawing dots on each end. I'll just put one over each eye, and it will look like I'm really paying attention. Or will I look too interested? I doubt it. I'm over here. I just love that face. Bill Watterson also included poems in the first collections that came out in the 80s and the 90s, the paperback, which I think I sold mine. Can't find them. I miss them. They're way easier to read than this cumbersome edition. However, I will mention that maybe you can see it. It looks like strips are cut out and glued. There's a difference in the white of the strip against the kind of creamy white of the paper. Here is another example of Watterson's poetic touch. Calvin and Hobbes are walking through the autumn leaves. Snip, snap, crack. Shika, shika, whoosh. Shoof, 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 shoof. Critch, crunch, critch, crunch. And at the end, Calvin says, sometimes it's good to hush up a while and let autumn stick in a few words. I also really appreciated, and still do today, appreciate Watterson's philosophical musings. What a clear night. Look at all the stars, millions of them. And Calvin says, yes, we're just tiny specks on a planet particle hurling through the infinite blackness. Look at the stars. Let's go in and turn on all the lights. Okay, now we get to my other daughter, Alicia. This is her. Look, Mom, the water's up to my knees. See? Look, Mom, the water's up to my knees. See? Look where the water is. Now look, the water's higher than my knees. See? Look, Mom, see? I'm enthralled, Calvin. You're not even looking. She wants me to look all the time, which 95% of the time I do because she's adorable. I love her, and I want to appreciate the moments when she's begging me to look at her. There is another strip that I did not bookmark. However, it's just Calvin hammering nails into the coffee table, and his mom comes in and says, what do you think you're doing? He looks down, and then he remarks, is this supposed to be a rhetorical question? That's definitely my daughter. She doesn't know why she does things, and she's very argumentative, just like Calvin. All right, let's take a look at Volume 2. I love that evil face. Oh, and this reminds me. Okay, I looked up for the Calvin, peeing on Ford logos, etc. Whatever you don't like, you have Calvin peeing on them. The strip is actually from this volume of he's filling up a water balloon. He's making that face, and somebody in Florida turned it into peeing on like the logo of a sports team, and then it shot off from there. I never liked those. I'm like, that's just it's crass and crude. This is one of my favorite watercolor spreads. Book 2, 1988 to 1992. I just love the use of the dramatic shadows that we don't really see in combination with the colors, because if he's using dramatic shadows 6 or 7 days out of the week, they are, just black and white. Oh, it was so much fun reading cartoon strips on my father's lap. Those are good memories. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. Oh, going outside and playing in the snow, and how difficult it was, and you get cold and you get tired of making whatever it is, and you go inside, hot chocolate and games. It's way more fun. And then I could definitely relate to that. And then Hobbes is like, hey, you got more marshmallows than me. Love this face right here where he is pretending that he's the dinosaur and all his little snowmen are people that he's going to eat. That is a huge theme running throughout these books, is Calvin making snowmen in these ridiculous situations, with the punchlines practically being the snowmen themselves. Okay, I consider this philosophical. In this Sunday strip, he is contemplating with Hobbes about, like, basically how you've got to squeeze as much fun out of each moment as you can because time's passing by. He says, I don't want to waste a second of liberty. It's Sunday. That's what it is. It's Sunday. And that's exactly how I feel. That's how I feel about every day. I've got to make it the best. I got to do like something constructive. Nice quality paper, let me tell you, because when I'm turning a bunch at once, I'm seriously thinking I'm going to paper cut myself. Okay, here we go. Love these two. His picture, oh no, Calvin has turned into one of his own childhood drawings. His anatomical references being obscure at best, Calvin finds it difficult to move. Are these lower appendages feet or wheels? His own mom thinks he's some kind of helicopter. If only Calvin had learned to draw better. No one understands my work. That's what all artists say. And I bet you Bill Watterson got this from his childhood, that he would draw, but he said looking back on it that he didn't take that much time on it and that it was really simple. And if I remember correctly, that he was like, well, I don't want to put the work into it, or it looked good enough or something like that. Okay, this, I remember cracking me up. I'd sit during lunch and read Calvin and Hobbes when I was a kid. My instant Lipton soup pouches that I love so much. And just the fact, okay, he's yelling, that's my humor. I just trust me, it's funny. And while I'm eating lunch and reading these, I'm constantly asking my mom, what does this word mean? What does this word mean? As I'm sure those of you have read Calvin and Hobbes, like, you had to look up or ask about the definitions of things. I mean, right here, picture of plague, Calvin's debilitating disease drink, $1 not to have any. I'm sure I was like, what's debilitating? Perhaps I use context clues to figure it out. But, I do remember the term Harry, am I pronouncing it correctly? It was in a strip, and I was like, what is that? Yeah, Mom had to explain it to me. All right, this is what I got to read to you. It's so cute. So in the top corner, you can see, and the art style has changed. And, oh no, everything has suddenly turned neo-cubist. It all started when Calvin engaged his dad in a minor debate. Soon Calvin could see both sides of the issue. Then poor Calvin began to see both sides of everything. The traditional single viewpoint has been abandoned. Perspective has been fractured. The multiple views provide too much information. It's impossible to move. Calvin quickly tries to eliminate all but one perspective. It works. The world falls into a recognizable order. You're still wrong, Dad. I hope I'm doing justice to these punchlines. I don't think I'm very good at delivering punchlines. Omar would definitely say I am not. Speaking of punchlines, I love how part of Calvin's face or his head will be chopped off while he's delivering the punchline. Okay, so he's talking to his dad about women in the media and men in the media being cool and sexy and such, and they have an argument. And he says at the end, maybe you guys just need to drink more beer. Now, this is something I'm genuinely wanting to do. He decides he's going to be Calvin, boy of destiny. But you have to say it right. Pause a little after boy and say destiny a bit slower and deeper for emphasis. Say it, boy of destiny. Like that. I want to say Melanie, but woman of destiny doesn't sound right because I'm already grown up. So woman of destiny, I don't have that much more destiny ahead of me. I don't know. You guys are witty. You come up for a name. And a name for yourselves like that you could even sign like receipts and checks with. That would be fun. Here's the back. Very cute. All right. And of course, sledding in the sledding in the snow. Again, snow being a huge fun factor for them. Summer and winter. Cute. Multiple times he uses a box in his imagination, as all children should do. Okay, this one, he's afraid of a monster. And so he's like, I gotta go pee. What am I gonna do? And the final panel, his father says, the plants on the side of the house sure don't do very well. I remember there's a spot of grass outside of our back door that did very well. And I'm pretty sure that's where my dad would go pee. So I disagree. I think they'd actually be growing better, right? Just a little insight. This is how I relate my life to comics. Okay, this strip is one of the jokes of how he would answer questions on tests. What was the significance of the Erie Canal? He writes, in the cosmic sense, probably nil. Then he says, we big picture people rarely become historians. And that reminds me of when I taught freshman high school English, that if a student made me laugh with an answer, even if it was wrong, I'd go ahead and give them points. Just because, I don't know, it was fun. It was just fun to do. I feel like you earned it. You made me laugh. There you go. The strip underneath also reminds me of when I was a kid. Remember when I was first born? I couldn't even turn myself over. My eyes wouldn't focus. I couldn't do anything. And then he says to his dad, think of all the work it took to develop the motor skills necessary to hold a crayon, to place the tip of it on a page, and to move it in predetermined coordinated motions. This picture is the result of 6 years of unrelenting toil. A lifetime of effort went into this. Dad says, I'm still not paying you $500. It will appreciate. It's an investment. So I made my sister buy my artwork, quote unquote, off this bulletin board. And I'd start just doing scribbles. But if it was better work, then, those were like a nickel or even a quarter. And the scribbles, they would be like a penny. She did buy some of them. So here on this strip, look, a quarter. Wow, I'm rich beyond my dreams. I can have anything I want. All my prayers have been answered. Maybe there's more. That's Omar right there. Oh my goodness. One day, or actually evening, we were walking in a city and we had extra change and me and his cousin started throwing it out. And he's like, what are you doing? That's wasting it. And he'd go run and pick it up and we just kept doing it to bug him. This strip here at the bottom reminds me of Peanuts. Which the author says in the introduction that definitely was an influence on him and that a lot of the jokes would go over his head. I'm sure just like me when I was a kid reading this. So Calvin says, I wish it would snow. Tiny snowflake falls on his head, exclamation mark above his head. I know when I'm being mocked. Definitely Peanuts. And now we're to the last strip, December 31st, 1995. 10 years of his work. And we've got this beautiful picture here. Wow, it really snowed last night. Isn't it wonderful? Hobbes says, everything familiar has disappeared. The world looks brand new. A new year, a fresh, clean start, Calvin says. It's like having a big white sheet of paper to draw on. A day full of possibilities. Calvin says, it's a magical world, Hobbes, oh buddy. Let's go exploring. Goosebumps. Okay, now that we've reminisced about how wonderful Calvin and Hobbes makes you, or piqued your interest if you never read Calvin and Hobbes, here are some of the lines I want to read to you from the introduction. I think one of the things that attracts me to Calvin and Hobbes is it's genuine. That's something really important to me, is to be genuine. And as he says here, there was a great personal satisfaction in attending to detail and quality, and I remain very proud of the standards the strip met day after day. I also like the responsibility of knowing that, succeed or fail, it was all my own doing. And most importantly, this approach kept the strip very honest and personal. Everything having to do with Calvin and Hobbes expressed my own ideas, my own values, my own way. I wrote every word, drew every line, and painted every color. It's a rare gift to find such fulfilling work, and I tried to show my appreciation by giving the strip everything I had to offer. And that's it. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite strips were, your childhood memories or adult memories of reading this. If you're interested in purchasing, I'll leave a link in the description below. Don't forget to hit that like button unless you just thought this was mediocre, then don't hit it. Thank you for everybody that supports us on Patreon and through merchandising on Redbubble, and stay minty!